I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. It's a famous one-liner. And then I found out that he was this great director of great spectacle, and I admired that a lot.
And if you look back on your career or your life, what life lessons would you say you have learned?
Oh my goodness, I've so many. I mean, one of the wonderful things about living a long time is that you learn so many life lessons. One of them is that it's more important to be interested than to be interesting. And what that means to me is, and what I don't even need to try to practice, but I am by nature very curious. So I'm learning all the time. I'm trying to understand people more, and I read a lot of books, and staying interested is very important, and it keeps you young. You know, I work in a business that plays to the ego. You know, you're supposed to be beautiful, you're supposed to be perfect. You have fans, people tell you they love you and all of that. When you come close to the end of your life, and you know, I think I'm going to live another 10 or 15 years. I'm almost 84. But as you get to the latter part of your life, you realize that all those things, how you look, what your body is like, and all that is less important than having people in your life that really love you, that have forgiven you, that you love and that you have forgiven, and that you feel when you look back over your life that it had meaning, that you can answer the question, why am I even here? It's so important to be able to answer that question. And you have to start being able to answer that before you get to the last part of your life, when it's too late. We need meaning. We all suffer if we don't have meaning in our lives. And I think, you know, I spent 30 years quite frivolous, kind of hedonistic. I was living in France. I was married to a French director named Roger Vadim, who'd been married to Brigitte Bardot before me, and Catherine Deneuve, and a lot of very beautiful, incredible women. But I didn't know why I was here. And when I became an activist, it filled me with joy and purpose. And so I've learned the importance of getting meaning in your life and doing something about what you see as problems.
You started with this at a time when it wasn't hip. It wasn't like every actor, everybody in Hollywood found a cause, not the way it is kind of right now, especially. Do you feel that you got maligned for some of the things that you did, or that there was, or did you just not care?
I didn't, you know, I'm sure that people thought, oh, come on, she's Henry Fonda's daughter, she's white, she's privileged. We'll be able to scare her into stopping. We'll be able to insult her and demean her into reducing her effectiveness. And I never paid any attention. The more they attacked me, the more determined. I'm going to show them, just because I'm Henry Fonda's daughter and grew up with privilege, they are not going to scare me away from doing what I know is right. But you see, my activism kind of, the tendrils, the beginning of it began in France under the influence of Simone Signoret, Yves Montand. You know, they were very, very, very left-wing, very activist. So for me, it was nothing unusual to be an activist performer.
If you had to give advice to a young actress or a young actor today, what would it be?
Don't just do it for money and fame. It's a beautiful profession that enhances your empathy. It's a profession where we're invited to inhabit another soul. So really use that experience to learn about other people and to feel for them in your heart. and don't just do it, because you want to be famous.
Is there anyone that you can kind of recognize a little bit of yourself in that you see on the screen today?
No. No, because, I've spent a lot of time trying to become a better person and learning about myself and the things that I have to change, etc. And what that has taught me is that everybody is different, but I'm really different than most people. So no, I don't see anybody that, because I have a lot of different, parts to my life, to my past. And the answer is no, I don't. Well, I had two role models. They were both comic book characters. One was the Lone Ranger, and one was Sheena of the Jungle, kind of a precursor to Barbarella. But it was mostly the Lone Ranger. I wanted to be brave. I wanted to gallop bareback across the prairies and not be afraid.
Any regrets, or do you subscribe to Edith Piaf's Je ne regrette rien?
I do subscribe to Edith Piaf. Je ne regrette rien. It's not that I don't regret anything. There's plenty that I regret. There's mostly I'd like to be able to go back and be a better parent. But I don't believe that what's important is not to focus on the regrets, but to learn from them, to figure out where you went wrong, and then try not to repeat that going forward. It's very important. As I entered what I call my third act when I was 60, I got scared because I thought, God, third acts are important, and this isn't a dress rehearsal. How am I going to know how to live the last third of my life? And I realized pretty quickly that in order to know where you're going, you have to know where you've been. And so, I've spent a bit of time going back over the past of my life, not to find out what I regret in the past, but not repeating those things in the future as I go forward. I'm not scared of dying, but I'm scared of getting to the end of life with regrets when it's too late to do anything about it. Then it's a good thing to go back over your life and try to understand it and understand your parents as people, and then their parents, your grandparents, because in understanding who they were and why they were the way they were, and most of the time what you find is their failures as parents, their weaknesses as parents, because all parents have failures and weaknesses, it had nothing to do with you. They had their issues, and well, then I can forgive them and I can forgive myself.